One morning, Rex and Jock were waiting to leave Alsborough West with their first passenger trains of the day, when Jock noticed that Rex looked upset. He decided to find out why. "What's the matter, Rex? You look about as miserable as Oliver when he had to haul the American boxcars."
"Well, it's nothing too serious, in the grand scheme of things. It's just that I have to take a really strange charter this afternoon, and it's got me rather confused."
Jock was about to reply, but an unfamiliar whistle interrupted him. "I've never heard that whistle before. I wonder who it could be." It turned out to be the Northwestern Railway's number 4. He was in a foul mood as he brought his train into the yard ready for Sigrid, who was bringing in a fresh load of ballast from the hills. Ballast trains. Ballast trains. Fucking ballast trains! Who does Topham think he is, downgrading his prestigious express engine to such a menial job? Jock had never met Gordon before, so he wasn't sure of what he should say to the big Pacific at first. He just watched as Gordon ran around his train before shunting it under the chute, then whispered something to Rex. "Do you have any idea who that is, Rex?"
"That, my dear engine, is Gordon the big express engine. I've heard about him many years ago, and I swear I've met him at least once, but he almost never comes up to Alsborough, so I don't know much about him." "Hey, go easy on the ballast trucks, man. It doesn't matter whether it's the 15-inch or standard gauge hoppers, they really don't like being treated roughly." "Yeah, right. Like I need to be told what to do by a tiny green Don't even finish that sentence." Excuse me, Gordon. May I ask what you're doing on the Little Western?" "I'm filling in for Duck. Apparently, his driver came down with a nasty stomach bug this morning, so he can't come to work today. Meanwhile, Henry is filling in for me on the Express." "I see. Just a minute. Who's taking the Little Western passenger service?" "Well, Donald and Douglas are busy, so it'll just be Oliver, but that means a reduced schedule for the branch. I dare say the passengers won't like that." "Would it not make sense for you to help Oliver on the passenger service?" "Not in my eyes. The big 462 Pacific would be overkill for a pair of auto coaches."
Rex is right, Jock. And to add, I'm not even equipped to work with auto coaches.
"And I suppose your situation could be worse. At least you're not running a wedding charter for a blue skunk and a lobster that plays guitar. I've got that job this afternoon."
Well, that doesn't sound so bad. Especially if the lobster can play Sultans of Swing by Dire Straits. Just a minute. How can a lobster breathe out of water in the first place?
"Search me. Although, now that I think about it, it's similarly bizarre to that time when a raccoon came to our railway and scared Mike half to death. He still gets triggered by memories of that day all these years later."
Well, now I've heard everything. In any case, I'd better be on my way. Catch you later, Gordon. And good luck with the ballast wagons, because goodness knows you'll need it. And with that, the NWR's number 4 got underway with his ballast train. Although the conversation with Jock and Rex had made him feel a little better, the wagons still tried to give him a harder time as they ran down the coast. Hey, what do you reckon, lads? This Gordon bloke isn't much of a looker. He ought to get plastic surgery. Bullshit! I'll have you know that engines can't get plastic surgery. In saying that, I suppose the fiberglass front on the refurbished Harris EMUs is kind of like plastic surgery. Alternatively, you could go on display in a butcher shop, as would be appropriate for a galloping sausage. Put a cork in it, you fucking demons! That's no way to speak to us. You'll get what's coming to you before you can say George Carlin. as Gordon had never hauled loaded ballast wagons before, he didn't really know how to deal with them. So rather than bothering to scold them again, he just defaulted to giving them a hard bump whenever they tried any more nonsense. Meanwhile, Oliver was waiting at Holtraw for Gordon to clear the single-track section ahead. As the 1400 looked at the signal, he could hear loud bashing sounds from Gordon's train. "What are you doing, Gordon? I thought I suggested last night that you should be especially careful with the ballast wagons. You can't just handle them like normal troublesome trucks." "Bah, humbug! The sooner I get this job over and done with, the better." And he carried on down the line, paying little attention to Oliver's advice. He made his way along the beautiful coastal route, and he breathed a sigh of relief as he got closer to Tidmouth Holt station, thinking that the journey would be over soon. But by this point, he had bashed the wagons so much that they were determined to pay him out, so they slipped on their brakes as they arrived at the station. "You filthy scoundrels! This is the last thing with which I wanted to deal today. Don't you realise that we need to get to the harbour before the ship sails?" He tried to get the train moving again, but it was no use. It was most unfortunate that James happened to be sitting in the yard nearby. The NWR's number 5 saw everything, and couldn't help laughing. "Oh, this is priceless. Who needs television and social media when real life gives you entertainment like this?" "Very funny, James. In all seriousness, I reckon the Fat Controller should have given the ballast job to me. I could handle those wagons with bent buffers and a busted boiler." "Yes, I'm sure you could." While Gordon and James were talking, the driver and fireman spoke to the guard to try and figure out a way of releasing the brakes. "What's happening, driver? I don't want to be stuck here all day." "Well, the brakes are hard on. Leak in the pipe, most likely. You've banged the wagons enough to make a leak in anything." "That's what she said." "Get your mind out of the gutter, James." "Anyway, I can take a wild guess as to how this problem with the brakes will be fixed. I'll go and see if anyone in the waiting room has got some newspaper and a leather bootlace. After all, it's been proven to work before, so it should work again here." Oh, the indignity. Upon realising that the shoe was now on the other foot, James laughed so hard that he almost died. Gordon was, understandably, weirded out by James's hysterical laughter, and couldn't wait to get moving again. Sure enough, the newspaper and leather bootlace combination worked a treat, and Gordon was able to set off again before you could say Tyne and Weir Metro. The NWR's number 4 felt most embarrassed as he puffed along the line, and worried that the other engines would laugh at him too. Fortunately for Gordon, when Donald and Douglas saw the ballast train arriving at Knapford Harbour, they decided to leave him in peace, and offered to take the empty wagons back to Owlsborough for him. Gordon was appreciative of the Scottish twins' help, and felt very relieved next morning when he got back to hauling the express. He now had more respect for Duck and the rest of the Little Western team, but secretly, he hoped that he would never have to deal with another ballast train again.